is as easy as visiting a UMC primary care. Locations valley-wide, there's one near you.
Find nearest Thai food.
Typhoons occur in the North Pacific Ocean.
Welcome back to UMC Digest. You're about to meet one of country music's biggest and youngest fans who survived a terrible accident because of the care he received here at the UMC Trauma Center and UMC's Children's Hospital. Here's his story. Tyler is back to his ranch life now, following a near-fatal accident.
I was in Utah on my uncle's ranch, and then on the last night I was supposed to be there, my cousins told me that they were going to go out and get a few extra dollars delivering phone books, which at my point I thought, why can't the mailman do it?
Tyler eventually agreed to pitch in and help, and along with his cousins, they loaded up a truck with phone books.
We weren't going very fast at all, so I hopped in the trunk. The trunk was open, full of phone books in it. I just sat on there, and then the phone book slipped. I slipped when we were turning the corner, and an Ford Expedition, was speeding through the stop sign and ran me over both axles.
Within those quick seconds, Tyler's injuries were near fatal.
I remember a huge, almost like looking at the sun now, and then I saw a hand, and there was a cross dangling from it, and then it gave it to me, and then I woke up, and I looked around, and somebody had put a phone book underneath my head, and I woke up and there was a lady standing at my feet telling me not to move, everything's gonna be okay, don't move. And then I looked around and I saw my two cousins laying over there, or sitting over there crying. And then I heard sirens and I looked over there and there was the ambulance coming in.
We was a part of 2 baby colts being born earlier that morning. And so he's having the time of his life. I was excited to get the phone call. And I kind of hear a very calm, very detailed voice tell me, "This is Mike, Dwayne. Tyler was in an accident. He was hit by a car." And I said, "Okay, stop right there. Don't give me details." You know, he said he's on his way to the hospital. So I said, "Okay, don't call your sister. I'm going to pick her up. My goal is just to get them there safe. We'll deal about it with it when we get there."
While his family was driving from Las Vegas to St. George, the doctors in St. George decided Tyler needed to be flown to UMC, the only designated pediatric trauma center in Nevada.
It wasn't till probably about 45 minutes into our drive to St. George that we were just about to hit Mesquite when the surgeons called me on my cell phone, and they told me that if our son made the flight, we would have seconds to say goodbye with him. That his injuries were so severe they didn't think that he was going to make it.
Mom and Dad made it back to Las Vegas and to the UMC Trauma Center before Tyler's helicopter landed.
We were able to see him for just a split second off the elevator before he went into the trauma unit.
What I like about that part of the story is nothing was stopping his mother and I from being right there at the elevator when he was coming off. You know, we knew which elevator he was coming in from. The doctors gave us permission. Usually they don't allow that, maybe because they knew how severe it was. You know, they knew how important it was to us. The rest of the family stayed very closer to the security guard booth. And when Tyler, the door dinged, the door opened up, and Tyler's in full C-spine, you know, backboard, neck brace, IVs hanging, you know, he can barely move. And as he's passing us, he lifts up his hand, gives us a thumbs up.
Tyler presented with polytrauma with 3 solid organ injuries. He had liver laceration, kidney laceration, and a spleen laceration as well.
He also had pulmonary contusions and was in respiratory failure.
I had a grade 5 liver, a grade 4 kidney, and a grade 5 spleen, or a grade 3 spleen, and the highest they can go is 5. And then I broke C7 and T1 in my neck, which is the big bump and the one.
And When Tyler was coming off his intubation, I remember she hugged us, and when he was going on, she hugged us. She told, like, I thought it was going to be the end of the world, you know, when he was going to be intubated, and she assured me that it's really the beginning, that he needed it to feel better and to get the rest that he needed. I remember Dr. Dugan's patience and his bedside manner. He sat on Tyler's bed and would just touch him and just smile.
Tyler was in the pediatric ICU at UMC for 22 days, many of them in a medically induced coma.
Intubated for like 10?
The first 5 days, he was begging to just stop everything. He doesn't, you know, he did not want to keep going. He tried to pull out his tubes once he was intubated.
During that time, prayers and support poured in from all over the country, empowering Tyler to stay cowboy strong.
Hey Tyler, hey, it's your friend George Strait here. Hope you can hear me. Even better, I hope you can see me. But anyway, just wanted to let you know that we're all thinking about you and praying for you. And we want you to wake up and start getting better. I hear you're a good singer and a good team roper. Well, I want to see all that. So, fight hard, man.
Hey Tyler, this is Trevor Brazil. I just wanted to shoot you a quick video and let you know that we're thinking about you, and I'm going to be praying for you, and everybody I know is going to be praying for you, because I serve a God that answers prayers, and I know you're going to get through this, not only because of that, but because you're cowboy strong.
Hey bud, this is Daniela. I heard about your story and I'm truly sorry about that. But there's one thing I need to tell you, is that you need to keep on fighting. Fight hard. I know it's a tough battle that you're fighting, but you have to keep trying and don't give up. You have your family there by your side. I know they're having a tough time with this, but they're there to help you, support you, and love you through this horrible tragedy that one day will just be a memory. You got this.
The doctors told me if I was out of, if I survived, I was going to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And I told them, you can watch me walk out of here backwards.
And because of that determination, Tyler's recovery continued.
I came back and he was gone. All his leads were there, his blood pressure cuff, but Tyler was not there. And so I turn around and I look, and there he is standing with Dr. Dugan. And I walked up and he says to Dr. Dugan, I'm getting out of this hospital today and you're going to check me out. And Dr. Dugan says, well, I can't do that. We got to set up in home care, and he says, well, who does that? And I remember Dr. Dugan pointing at a lady standing at the counter, and he says, she's the one. And Tyler walked over to her and says, you need to get my home care set up because I'm out of here.
He was discharged within the hour.
Is that in, Mama? Is that in your mouth?
Tyler continues to heal, although you'd never know all that has happened to him while watching him on the ranch.
I'm back to riding him. I'm back to riding that one. I'm back to doing a bunch of other things. I'm back to roping, I did an archery tournament at school. I'm back to playing with the goat, building houses in the backyard. I'd like to say two things. I'd like to say sorry for being so sassy. And I'd like to say thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for fighting with me.
For more information on any of the stories you've seen or on our first and only services, please log on to our website at umcsn.com. You can also find us on social media. Thank you for watching this edition of UMC Digest. We'll see you next time right here on Clark County Television. Until then, take care.
You ready?
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Can't move!
Hi, I'm a census taker. Good pay, flexible hours. Help shape your community's future. Be a census taker. Apply today.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Take the weapon out of their hands. Take the criminals off the streets. Make them pay for their crimes. Graffiti is a crime, and you're paying for it. With lower home values, up to $30 million in cleanup costs, and neighborhood blight. It's time to hold these criminals accountable. Call 385-5555 and turn in a tagger. You may get a $500 reward from Crime Stoppers and help prevent other crimes. Together, we are targeting area graffiti.
Our community, our home, Clark County, Nevada. Thanks for watching Clark County Television.
Coming up next on Clark County Chronicles, a solemn tribute to 58 angels marked the second anniversary of the 1 October tragedy. Commissioner Jim Gibson sat down with a number of concerned constituents for coffee and a chat. And new life-saving defibrillators were installed at James Regional Park. Those stories and more coming up next on Clark County Chronicles. Hello, I'm Randy Swallow. Welcome to Clark County Chronicles. Exactly 2 years after our community's most horrific day, the Board of County Commissioners, the Governor, and the Sheriff joined hundreds of people right here at the Clark County Government Amphitheater to honor 58 lives lost during the 1 October sunrise ceremony.
Lord, we gather in your name as we remember the events of 2 years ago today. We pray for your compassion, comfort, and healing for victims, survivors, and families. We ask for your divine intervention to bring ultimate healing for our entire community. We thank you for the resilience that you built into each person you created and the ability to recover from the hardships of life. We thank you that through so many in our community, you have brought healing and hope to those experiencing trauma. As you walk with us through our grief, we are grateful that many are moving from pain to progress as you lift us to new heights. We rely on your word that says those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
Two years ago, it seems like an eternity in some ways, but for those who lost someone, a brother, a sister, a parent, a child, or a friend, it feels like yesterday. Like many people here today, I spent a lot of time over the last 2 years recounting my own experiences on that fateful night. I've thought about the moment, and I will never forget the moment that I got the call from the sheriff. I remember how the pit in my stomach grew bigger and bigger as I drove down Charleston to get to Metro and to UMC. And I've never forgotten the sound and the sight of cell phones ringing across the field when I visited the site, many of which would never get answered, searching, looking, hoping to hear from a lost loved one. All through the darkness came out an immense light. Our Las Vegas family showed its true colors like never before. To give blood, to give comfort, to give support, and to push through the next day and the next and the one after that. After the tragedy, 2 years ago today, many around the country remarked on the strength of the Vegas community, almost as if they were surprised that Las Vegas is in fact a tight-knit community. The nation discovered what we knew all along, that beyond the neon signs, we are a city of neighbors that look out for each other, that have each other's backs, that have an immense pride in the place that we call home, that we are, and we have always been, Vegas strong. The difference now, though, is that 2 years after that horrible night, we are Vegas stronger.
Difficult to believe that 2 years have passed since 1 October. I'm sure for many who lost a loved one, it feels like it was just yesterday. Even 2 years after the attack that changed all of us, we still try to make sense of something that defies anything we can understand. We as a country also continue to revisit the grief and sadness that we experienced from 1 October as we struggle with mass shootings. Each one reminds us of what happened here. We empathize and understand what other communities are feeling, the shock, the heartache, and the pain. Too many lives have been lost. Too many people have been hurt. As your sheriff, I will give you my word that in Clark County, Nevada, we are committed to protecting the lives of the people who live here and those who come to visit. I want you to know that we are vigilant, doing our best to be watchful and to stand guard. We know our obligation, our responsibility. We know well the duty we have in shielding and securing our community. There is nothing that we can do to bring back the lost lives of that day. But this morning is meant to take a moment, a pause, to reflect on their lives, how amazing they were, and what they meant to us.
It's a lot for all of us to be here, but we want to remember those that we lost and those that are still most affected by what we witnessed that night. Eventually, I'll go a day without being sad or angry, but not today. But eventually, I might get there, but I'll never forget. And I know that I'm not alone. Many of you out there feel the same. Together, we will continue to help those get up and keep moving forward. And that's what makes Vegas stronger to me. And that's what we're celebrating here today.
My son Quentin was 20 years old when he was taken from us. Born and raised in Henderson, Nevada, he was an athlete, playing multiple sports, loved the outdoors, and loved activity involving family and friends. Quentin certainly loved sports, and as a Henderson City Recreation employee, he was able to indulge his passion. He enjoyed coaching young kids to play football, baseball, and basketball. He enjoyed seeing kids excel and having a great time. It was his passion for sports and for helping others that led to the creation of the Quentin Robbins Play It Forward Foundation. The foundation supports local athletes with scholarships to continue their education and supports various forms of youth sports for the community that he loved and the schools that he attended. In addition, subsidizing youth programs for the less fortunate kids to have experiences that were unattainable before. It's the sort of work that I know Quentin would be very happy and proud. It is our pleasure and honor to do this work in his memory. On a day like this, I would like all of us to commit to making our community a better place. In ways large and small, We should do all that we can to turn loss and despair into something more emotionally positive. Let us show love and support for our neighbors. Let us try to be more understanding and more compassionate. Let us try to create a better place to live in whatever ways we are able. In our sorrow, understand that we may not always be up to it, but we must try. We must try because that's what Quentin, my son, and all the other 57 lives we lost that day would want.
For the past 2 years, much of the support and healing for the victims of the Route 91 shooting has taken place here at the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. Quickly established just days after the senseless tragedy, the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center enters its 3rd year of operation. The center is a haven of healing and continues to provide committed and compassionate services and programs to anyone affected by the shooting and events at the Route 91 Harvest Concert on October 1st, 2017.
We're 2 years out, and right after the event, the charge was really trying to do outreach to all the victims and those that were impacted. That's been ongoing for 2 years. We continue to do that. The Resiliency Center remains in full operation. We're really focused on trying to continually connect with those victims in our database to see how they're doing, but also more importantly to get them to services they may need, because we don't know, even 2 years out, there's triggers that happen. People struggle differently, and so the mission has not changed, but now it's more of an ongoing check-in and an ongoing outreach effort, both locally and nationally.
Somebody reached out to us and said, we heard about the work that you guys are doing.
The Vegas Strong Resiliency Center has served more than 10,000 survivors, family members, and first responders from 45 states and 5 countries. The walls are still adorned with artwork, photos, and a vast collection of visual mementos depicting hope, strength, and love. The center's mission is unchanged, but earlier this spring, Clark County transferred the day-to-day duties to the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada.
So we still have our legal department here. We're still fully staffed with legal staff, but we've also taken over operations of the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center. So I have become now the director of the center, and we're operating under the legal aid umbrella.
With a reduced number of walk-in visitors, reaching out is even more crucial. Many victims don't suffer dark trauma until months or even years afterwards.
The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th year and beyond, some people come forward for the first time. And sometimes that's because, like I said, the energy wears down and they're only able to manage it for so long. Sometimes they look back and they realize how much their life has changed and not for the better, that slowly over time things have progressively gotten to a point that they're not comfortable with. And for some people, it just takes that long to realize that they're not going to be able to do it alone, and it's okay to ask for some help.
Sometimes I feel scared,
anxious, alone.
Many people from the survivor community and first responders have found some therapeutic relief by participating in public service announcements. The Resiliency Center and many supporting agencies provide outreach throughout the year, including this wellness event, which took place immediately following the solemn 2nd anniversary ceremony at the Clark County Government Center. Many survivors and community members posted messages of love and strength, while others found comfort simply by talking and fellowship.
We are 2 years out from 1 October, and we wanted to be able to offer something that was kind of a productive show of the resources that the Resiliency Center works with, what we have to offer, the partners we often work with. With 2 years having passed, a lot of people can either feel like they've either come so far in their healing that they feel like they've ended their healing journey, or maybe they haven't even begun. So we wanted to offer a little bit of everything.
As we planned our own small way to wrap our community in a hug and show our love and support.
Last year, a group of local crafters created masterpieces that can literally be wrapped around someone for support. Last summer, the talented members of the Las Vegas Modern Quilt Guild stitched together and through the Resiliency Center gave away about 250 quilts to members of the survivor community.
These are all hand-stitched. That's designed in our mind. We cut the fabric, we stitch the fabric together. A lot of love and effort goes into making a quilt. Historically, quilts have been used to show love and appreciation, so that's what we're doing for our community.
The quilting program proved to be so popular and the demand so great that a second quilt program is ongoing as part of the second anniversary remembrance.
We have 500 so far that have said, please put me in, I want one. So, we're excited to do that. We're also going to do an event where the survivors that have requested a quilt can meet some of the quilters because they have put in their heart and soul into these quilts. They take a lot of time. And so we just want to show some appreciation and give them an opportunity to meet and just enjoy those quilts.
The Las Vegas Healing Garden downtown is one location that provides a tranquil setting, including a wall of remembrance, a grove of trees, paths and benches, a place well utilized by people in the survivor community, and a place for everyone to pay respect to the 58 lost lives.
The Memorial Garden has been a great kind of hit out in the community, the survivor community. Often when the additional tragedies happen throughout the country or there's anniversary dates, they often gather there because it is a great place of reflection and healing.
The Vegas Strong Resiliency Center is not going away, and the dedicated staff want to expand their duties and provide services and resources for all victims of any crime or calamity in Nevada.
We have another 2 years still of active involvement from the grant, but I can tell you from a legal aid perspective, they're very focused on the Victim Services Center, so it's not like we just turn the switch off. We will continue to be a support structure for both our community and for those that were attending. So I see this as an ongoing process.
We want to become the first victims' rights center for the state of Nevada. We've learned so much working with these amazing survivors, what they've been through, and kind of the system that they have to face to get some of the benefits and resources that they need. We don't want any other victim to have to go through that and learn those lessons. We want to be that wraparound, one-stop shop of victim services for all victims of the state and continue on serving the survivors of 1 October.
The Vegas Strong Resiliency Center website is a single point of contact for locals and a valuable tool for out-of-state concert attendees. Visit vegasstrongrc.org for more information on all the services and resources available. You can drop in, no appointments necessary. The center is located at 1524 Pinto Lane and open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m., excluding holidays. We must take a short break, but when we come back, I'll tell you how Clark County is taking sustainability to the next level. This is Clark County Chronicles.
Drowning is the leading cause of death in young children in southern Nevada. Remember these safety steps. Patrol. Always have an adult actively watching children in the water. Protect. Provide defensive barriers between your child and the pool. Prepare. Create a water safety plan for your family. Enroll children in swimming classes. And equip your pool with safety equipment. Be ready to call 911 in an emergency. Keep it fun and safe all year long. Visit GetHealthyClarkCounty.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Commissioner Jim Gibson's outreach efforts included individual 5-minute meetings with his constituents here at Sunrise Coffee in District G. It was a typical morning at the local coffee shop. Early risers enjoying lattes and cappuccinos expertly prepared by the capable baristas. And on this day, Commissioner Jim Gibson sat down face-to-face with concerned citizens. The commissioner and his hard-working staff spent a couple hours listening to the good and the bad from his constituents. Many people were quizzing him on many of the typical topics, transportation, taxes, parks, and growth. Law enforcement officers from Metro and the Park Police provided answers on public safety. This type of public forum is one Commissioner Gibson and several of his colleagues view as an excellent opportunity to outreach, learn, and most importantly, listen.
There's a sound issue off of the 215 in a neighborhood that is not tolerable, and there is some plan to expand the 215. When we do that, we've got to make sure that we give them coverage on the sound. So sound walls, for instance, in an area where